grazing and feeding knowledge. Okay, so this, you're kind of seeing the pattern here. They kind of all go together. Okay, well, if you're fencing and you're putting these cattle into an area, you're gonna need to know, how long can I leave these animals in this fenced in area before I need to move them, which goes back to the handling. Okay, so it all goes together. There are seminars put on called Grazing School, and there's other ones too, but Grazing School is probably the #1. And if you go to your NRCS office when the government's not shut down, you can find out about these programs, because they require, before you can get any funding, if you're going to do an NRCS program, they require you to take Grazing School. But you don't have to take any of the funding if you don't want to, but you can still go and sign up and do the Grazing School. They're going to teach you fencing skills and grazing skills, okay? If you have no knowledge of that, that's the best place to go to start. You're going to get to go tour some farms and ranches and look at some grass and stuff like that. They're going to talk about feeding hay. They're going to talk about all of that stuff. So you've learned how to handle your animals. You've learned how to fence them in. Well, you got to keep them fed, you know? So that's going to be part of it. Beyond that, once you learn some grazing skills and some hay feeding skills and all that, definitely going to want to talk to a nutritionist and start seeing about, like, okay, what kind of supplements should I be feeding? Should I not be feeding? What kind of mineral program do I need? These guys are specialized in these areas and can usually help you out. Also, talk to other producers as much as you can to figure out what's working in your area for other producers. And you'll find that everybody's got their thing that they like to do, and that's where it always comes back to, you need to figure out what's available and then figure out what's going to work for your operation, because your place is going to be different than everybody else's place. Your way of handling animals is going to be different than everybody else. So you got to figure out what works for you. And what works for your neighbor may work perfectly for you, because he may be mentoring you, or vice versa, or whatever. But that's what it comes down to, is what's going to work on your operation. So if you've got small pastures that you've fenced in, you're going to have to move more than every 3 days, like your neighbor. He only moves every 3 days because he's got bigger pastures. You see what I'm getting at there. So that's going to be step 3, is learning some grazing and feeding skills.